Yo, imagine if you were suddenly transported into Gorilla Tag with no possible way of getting out. Would you be able to survive in this new virtual world? Chances are, you're probably not gonna last long. But if you enjoy thriving like I do, then listen up, because today, I'm gonna be showing you the best methods of survival in the world of Gorilla Tag through these 5 topics. Here's how it's going to work. We'll be looking at each of these 5 aspects of Gorilla Tag and rate them on a scale of 1 to 5. At the end, I'll add up all the scores to truly find out how good we'd be off living in this virtual world. Let's start with possibly the most important thing for survival: water. After all, most people can only last like half a week without water, so we need to find some as soon as possible. Luckily, there's plenty of maps where we could get some, like beach. I mean, look at this. We've got a whole ocean to work with, and the water's constantly flowing from this waterfall. That means we're good, right? Nope. I don't know if y'all know this, but ocean water is also salt water, which we can't drink unless we want to unalive ourselves. So we need to find a way to get fresh water, and some of you might say there's some in caves. Well, I mean, you're not wrong. It's right there. But while this water might look safer to drink than ocean water, who knows what could be in that stuff, since it got there through a crusty, musty, dusty, rusty cave, which I wouldn't want to take my chances on drinking it, since a lot of it could end up being salt water anyways. So, does that mean that there's no safe place to drink water in Gorilla Tag? Well, I would say yes, if it weren't for the fact that there is one small detail about Gorilla Tag that could end up saving us from dehydration completely. Weather. You see, in a random update back on April 17th, 2022, Gorilla Tag added different weather patterns across maps like forests and mountains, and with this update, it would now occasionally rain in forests. But guess what? We can actually drink rainwater if we manage to collect some. So we could just get a container nearby, let it fill up over time, and clean the water by boiling it over the fireplace in forest. Problem solved, we won't die of dehydration. Overall, I'll give water availability a 3 out of 5, since even though we do have a constant supply of clean water through rain, it's our only reliable source, and if we didn't have it, then we wouldn't have any other safe options on our hands. Next, we need to find some food. Unlike water, people could survive much longer without food, so we have a bit more time to look for these. But what food sources are actually available to us? Well, my first thought was to check forest, since there's butterflies and other bugs there. Sadly, the butterflies were pretty small, and I don't think we could get enough energy from eating a few. Same thing with the fish, since I have a slight feeling this many fish won't last you very long at all by themselves. Fortunately, there is one animal that could suffice us for a very long time. Doug the Bug. I'm sure many of you already know about him. He's a pretty chill guy, but we're gonna need his help for this challenge. The thing about Doug is that he's always wanting to wander around in forests, which means that he's gonna get back there no matter what. So while we could eat him without any thought, there's something else I want to do first. You see, since Doug always travels back to forests, we could take him far away from that map and then eat him. Then we just go a little bit farther and poof, he's gone back to forest without a scratch. Pretty simple. So, we've got our meat. Now, how are we gonna find other foods like fruits, veggies, and grains? Maybe we could go check out the edible cosmetics in city. I mean, there's plenty of food you could buy in city, like pineapples, apples, cheese, corn, etc. But there's a problem. Most of these items are in limited shops. So, unless you've got godlike luck with what's in the shop, you can't get these items easily. But there's gotta be another way to get something out of these maps, right? I'm sorry to say this, but we can't get any more food from these maps. Except clouds. Yeah, turns out there are these weird purple berries all over clouds, and while I don't know what they really are, I'll just assume they're an exotic fruit, so you could just farm them over time. After all that, I'll give food availability a 2 out of 5. While we technically have an infinite source of meat with the help of Doug, we're pretty much lacking in most nutrients with the exception of those berries from earlier. So now that we got some food and water, we're gonna need to find some shelter to lay down in. I mean, I've lived under a roof my whole life, and I don't want to live without one, so we need to find some place that can protect us from the outside. Luckily, there's plenty of spaces that do just that, like the tree stump, the treehouse and forest, the various huts, shacks, and the sandcastle and beach. the clay shacks and canyons, the igloo and mountains, the entirety of city and basement, and the houses and clouds. I don't know about you, but that seems like an easy 5 out of 5 for shelter. Now that we've got some places to stay at, we now need to ask ourselves how safe this world actually is for us. Well, it's a bit tough to answer that. I mean, this whole game and everything built around it revolve around movement and playing tag, so I wasn't sure how to look at it at first glance. But after looking back at what the game offers in general, I think we should look at how safe the maps and the game modes of Gorilla Tag would be for a human. So, the maps. Some of them could be dangerous if you aren't careful about your surroundings. I mean, there's so many different obstacles that could cause some serious damage if you even just slightly ran at them the wrong direction. Not to mention that at any point if you fall, you're gonna take a hit on that. So yeah, pretty dangerous. I could go on and on about how canyons could leave a mark, or how mountains is a literal death trap waiting to happen, but I think you get my point. As long as you don't get carried away climbing trees or swinging on ropes, I think you'll probably be fine in most areas of the game. But what about the game modes? Well, there's casual, infection, hunt, and paint brawl. And with each of these game modes, besides casual, your appearance and abilities change with the different games. Now, for example, imagine if you decided to join a lobby in infection mode. Normally, you turn into a lava monkey and chase normal monkeys down. But here's the kicker, you're a human, covered in lava. At that point, you better just say goodbye because you aren't getting out alive covered in lava. Same with Hunt, since you'd probably freeze to death covered in ice. So what would you be able to do to stay alive? Just stay in casual or paint brawl. That way you won't be ever in danger of burning or freezing yourself. I guess I can give Gorilla Tag safety a 4 out of 5. While some areas and aspects of the game can be deadly if you weren't being cautious, you can simply avoid those situations by being just a little careful from time to time. Alright, so far we've covered water, food, shelter, and safety. So there's only one more topic to cover, but unlike these previous ones, this one is going to be a little more on the mental side of things. Socialization. Yeah, I already know some of y'all don't like talking to other people, but socializing just has way too many benefits to not mention it, so it'll be key to our survival as well. Thankfully, Gorilla Tag is not only a game about tag, but also a place where you can chat and hang out with other players online in lobbies. So we could just head into a casual lobby, chill with other people in there, and be good, right? Yeah, I thought that at first, but then I realized this is also a game about gorillas, and I don't think gorillas can speak on the same level as humans. Yeah, this is a big problem, since if we can't talk with the in-game gorillas, who can we even chat with? No one. It'd just be like if you were alone with no one else, trapped in this virtual world for eternity. You'd end up getting lonely over time, unable to have the chance of human contact ever again. Maybe you'll even go insane over the fact that you can't really talk with anyone anymore. But worst of all, no socializing means a high risk of death for all of us. I guess we're kinda screwed for socialization then, so I'll give it a 1 out of 5. Well, that's all the topics we've got today, so what's our final score? Well, we have a 3 out of 5 for water, 2 out of 5 for food, 5 out of 5 for shelter, 4 out of 5 for safety, and 1 out of 5 for socialization, leaving us with a decent 15 out of 30. I guess I suppose that Gorilla Tag wouldn't be the most dangerous place to live in then, but if you can deal with the minor inconveniences with food availability and being alone from time to time, then you'll probably end up just fine in the virtual monkey world of Gorilla Tag.